In this short video, I'm going to explain how an imbalance is created. There are three scenarios where an imbalance can be created. And the first one is trendline break. The second one is the opposing imbalance being eliminated. And the third one is all-time highs and all-time low scenarios. So let's go and take a look at some charts. Okay, this is Ferrari ticker. This is a stock. So we have the monthly time frame, and these are all-time highs. All-time highs every few months, all-time highs broken. So here at around $200 per share, price rallied and created an impulse that was strong enough to consolidate away, and that means that we have a new imbalance over there. We waited for 3 months and that level was triggered over there. So all-time highs eliminated plus an impulse able to consolidate away creates an imbalance. That's for all-time highs. For all-time lows, the same thing, but upside down. So let's take a look at a crypto. I don't know, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we have, let's take a look at the weekly time frame, for example. So we have all-time high scenario, an impulse strong enough to consolidate away. So we've got that area of demand, and that's the imbalance. All-time highs broken, impulse strong enough to consolidate away. You've got another imbalance right there. That's all-time highs. And the same is true for all-time lows. Okay, so imagine that price drops and creates a long-term low, an impulse is strong enough to consolidate away, and that creates a supply level. So this is for all-time highs, all-time low, the same thing, but upside down, okay? And what about the elimination of an opposing imbalance? So, well, we draw a trend line, connecting trend line like that, it breaks, creates supply, and that supply, the elimination of that supply creates demand. This demand was able to break that supply, so that becomes demand because of that. But also in this particular scenario, we also have the all-time highs being eliminated, so that becomes demand because of that. Probably Bitcoin will not retrace, and hopefully won't, because I am long on some cryptos, and that will, if it doesn't retrace, it's going to help all my longs on cryptos that I have right now. So trendline break, that creates supply, and the opposing imbalance being eliminated creates demand. If we take a look, I don't know, to the daily time frame, so we can do the same thing. So we have here trend line break, 1 peak, 2 peaks, that ends up creating this trend line. So the origin of the move of the trend line break creates a brand new demand after consolidating away with a few candles. That is the creation of an area of demand after the trend line break. We need at least one candle breaking and staying away, consolidating away from the trend line confluence, or from the intersection. Here on the left, we also have this valley with another valley over there that creates an area of supply right there. So the break of the trend line that happens there with a few candles consolidating away, not touching or intersecting with the trend line, creates this impulse, creates supply, and that supply has been eliminated. So that means that this is supply, but the elimination happened right there. So this creates demand. So we can connect the two impulses with the trend line, the origin of the move, the trend line break, with several candles, at least one, we need one at least, breaking and consolidating away, not intersecting with the trend line. That creates a supply level, the trend line break. That's rule number one. The elimination of an opposing zone creates another imbalance. So this is demand, this is supply. This is demand because it eliminates that area of supply. This is supply because it breaks the trend line. Okay? So here we have all-time highs. New area demand was created. Supply was responsible, that impulse was responsible for eliminating that area of demand. So demand eliminated, supply created. Okay? Let's take a look, I don't know, euro dollar. going to clean this. Euro dollar. We're going to do the same thing. So on the euro dollar, let's go to the weekly, for example. So here on the weekly, we have a valley, another valley. So that allows us to connect a trend line like that. The origin of the move creates an area of supply over here, right at the top. So the trend line break, okay, here, all this is the consolidation away that creates supply. Very tricky scenario over there, but price drops nevertheless. And then start dropping, blah, 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 and all that. Here, we had another trend line here. One sec. So we have this valley with this valley, and all the trend line creates supply. If that is supply because it consolidates away with that candle, full candle, not intersecting with the trend line. So that supply has been eliminated by this demand right there. It was tested once, twice. We were talking about this scenario in the trading community. Supply is in control right there on the monthly as well, but this is not the video to explain that. So that area, this area here of demand right there was eliminated where? Right there. So we'll go up and left and we locate this little pause of there, this CP continuation pattern as explained in the lesson, and that continuation pattern, CP, is the one responsible for eliminating that area of demand. So here we have again, this is supply because it eliminates an opposing area, in this case demand. This is demand because it eliminates that opposing area of supply that was created by the break of the trend line. So everything is connected. Trend line break, supply created. Demand created because it breaks the supply that was initially created by the break of the trend line. Demand created, eliminated. So the last impulse that was able to consolidate away, that's the area of supply responsible for eliminating that area of demand that was responsible for eliminating that area of supply. So everything's connected, and that's how we locate new imbalances using these three different rules and scenarios: trend line break, opposing demand eliminated, all-time lows and all-time highs. That's all you need to take into consideration in order to evaluate and consider new imbalances on any price chart, time frame, and asset. It works with any single asset: cryptocurrencies, futures, indexes, commodities, ETFs, stocks, Forex, anything.